quite a common subject, certainly in recent years, in football in this country, surrounding the gap between the Premier League and the Championship. And I think it's more evident than ever this season. The gulf is quite unbelievable, isn't it? Like, you've got three promoted sides that have all just not only struggled, they've failing miserably, got no chance. I mean, they're miles off of it. It's quite alarming. And what it's led me to believe is also that it led me into this sort of video, should I say, is just the strangeness of this season. I find this a really weird season. It's been a weird season for West Ham. Let's get it right. In terms of big summer investment, we got rid of David Moyes, obviously talented of last season, brought in a new head coach. It's been so much upheaval. And it's been a bit of a crazy one, isn't it, this season? I mean, they're having to then get rid of Lopetegui, who was, let's be honest, a disaster. Tim Steidten didn't work out in terms of what was going on behind the scenes at the club, was not good. It's just been crazy, with Mikel Antonio situation. We've had injuries, like, brand new players coming in and straight away huge injuries to them. It has been crazy. Also, the Paqueta situation. It has been crazy. And then, as I say, then on top of that, you've got just this bizarre around that as well. You've got a season that's done in many aspects, but in February. I mean, really weird. I'm finding it quite strange, the fact that we already know the three teams that are relegated. We already know who's going to win the league. The only really real element of excitement, let's say, for the neutrals, I would say, is the race for Europe. And there's a fair few teams in that. And bloody good luck to them, I say. Especially like Bournemouth. You want to see them do well, and fair play to them, because they deserve it. These teams deserve to be up there, and that is an element of excitement that's left, I suppose, for the neutrals when looking at the Premier League. But let's be honest, this has been a strange season to be at this stage of it with a few months to go and have everything wrapped up. So, but what it actually is doing, it's presented quite an interesting scenario for West Ham, in that, one, we're a team that's recovering from such a chaotic first half of the season. One which saw, as I've just said, so much upheaval, so much drama, and credit to where it's due to Graham Potter, who's come into this football club, and I mean, we've talked about it enough on this channel, how well he's done. He's come in and instilled this new belief into this team and amongst the fans. Just feels like he's really connected very well with the football club. I think the club connect well with him. I think the fan base are connecting well with him. And in 7 weeks he's been in the job, just over 7 weeks. And in that time, we've gone from a team that was all over the place, getting hammered regularly. Even when we won games under Lopetegui, I never felt more. I didn't feel any confidence after it. I never sort of won a game under Lopetegui. I thought, God, brilliant! Now we can go on and win the next game. It was never ever that feeling. It was a feeling still of dread in terms of the next fixture. That's now been removed. It feels now like there's a belief. We've got Newcastle home next on Monday night. Don't get me wrong, very tough fixture. But you think to yourself, nah, do you know what? I fancy us. I fancy us to be able to, give them a game. Didn't feel that way before, and I just feel like it's been an excellent turnaround. And where we are now is quite interesting, because on paper there's nothing left for this season. It's a write-off. We're not going to get relegated, which is fantastic, of course, because let's be honest, at one time there was a possibility. You're looking at it thinking we could easily get dragged into this, the way that we were playing. That's obviously now long gone now, which is fantastic. But we can't now get Europe. We can't really get top half. That's highly unlikely. So you would think to yourself, well, that's a bit pointless. But the fact is, because teams around us have done so badly, and I'm talking about Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United in particular, are level on points of us now. What it's doing is creating actually a little bit of enjoyment towards the end of the season. And I actually think it's working really well for Graham Potter. I think this actually couldn't be better, the scenario we're in, because the pressure's off in terms of a footballing club perspective. The club aren't going to be now going to Potter, right, you must finish here, you must do this. At the end of the day, he's already done what he was set out to do. Keep West Ham in the Premier League. Let's make sure we don't get relegated, and let's start building, picking things up and start improving on performances, etc., ahead of a summer where there's going to be no doubt quite a significant amount of change in terms of playing personnel with what Potter's going to want to be doing. But I like where we are. We've got 11 games to go. And I actually think it's now the race for 11th in a way. That's the way we can treat this now like a mini season. 11 games to finish as high as we can, which I'll say I think the highest we can finish now realistically is 11th. We're 5 points behind that at the moment, and that's occupied by Brentford at the moment. But as I say, we're level on points with Spurs and Manchester United. We're a point ahead of Everton. And I think it's 3 points behind Crystal Palace. I think it's quite exciting. I actually think it's a nice excitement. It's not an anxiety-filled, excitement where you're thinking, God, if we don't get this, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. I think it's hilarious the fact that we're on level on points with Spurs. I mean, we've had a diabolically bad season, and we're level on points with Spurs and Man United. I mean, how has that happened? And what it's done is presented Graham Potter with a perfect opportunity because now he can enjoy the last 11 games whilst learning more and more about his players, learning more about this team, preparing for next season. See, the thing is, let's just say we were in a relegation fight now. It's almost like he wouldn't have time to be doing that because all he'd be doing is fixating his time on is just trying to get points. I've got to get points. I've got to try and keep this team in the league. You're not going to be sort of having time to stand back from the situation and really take in what's going on because you're just going to be so focused on trying to just grab results where you can that you'd be distracted, and rightly so. Whereas now we don't have that distraction. I find it actually quite unique. I mean, this is certainly the first time since I've been doing this where I'm sitting in this chair at this stage of a Premier League season, feeling really relaxed about life and thinking, do you know what? We've nothing really to play for that's making me go, oh my God, if we don't get that position, that's going to be heartbreaking because it could be an opportunity. We know we're not going to get Europe now. So that's gone. Although that's a shame, I'd much rather have that to play for. It's also, but what it is, as I say, what it's doing, it's enabling us though to now actually just enjoy football for football's sake rather than for what we could go and achieve. Because there is nothing to achieve this season. We've achieved what we needed to do, which was stay in the league. Because, as I say, that was at one point a reality that we might not. I just think it's great. I'm really, really pleased about it. And I'm excited to see what Graham Potter's going to do. I'm excited to see what, with this time, how he's going to utilise it. Because I've been really impressed with Potter. I know that people, there's some today that are moaning about the game last night. I'm quite surprised. Look, I know it wasn't the most entertaining. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I went, wow, that was amazing. But I like the fact it was relaxed. I like the fact that we're not panicking and stressed out and worrying about stuff. It's quite uplifting, really, just to have that feeling of going, I'm just going to just enjoy football now. Do you know what I mean? Till the end of the season. And it felt a little bit like that last night. It was like we didn't have to go gung-ho. We didn't have to desperately try and we were comfortably winning that game. When we got to the second half, it was obvious the players didn't really, the remit wasn't go out there and desperately try and get more goals. It was just like, look, let's just see the game through. Don't pick up any injuries. We've got Newcastle coming up. We want to be fresh for that. I'm all for that, And let's be honest as well, what is exciting about the rest of this mini season, which is how I'm seeing it, the 11-game mini season towards the end, is that we're playing the teams around us. We've got Everton away coming up after Newcastle. We've got Tottenham at home, and then we've got Man United away. I mean, they're 6-pointer games for us, all three of them. We win 3 of that. We win those 3 games. I tell you what, the big chances we're going to be 12th or above this season. I mean, there's still a lot to play for in that regard, but it's a fun element of playing for it. It's not the end of the world. You're not going into it with dread. You can just go in and go, do you know what? Let's just go and enjoy it. Let's give it a bloody good go. We've already proven that we can mix it and play against the best teams in this league on our day. So I'm really excited. I'm feeling really good about things. It's nice. It's nice to be in a position where it's so different from where we were only a matter of a couple of months ago. Like literally, as I say, Potter's been in the job 7 weeks. Before that, I was dreading talking. I hated talking about football. It was painful. To do this is not easy. When you're having a bad season and you've got to continue to keep talking and talking, you just think to yourself, Christ, you know what I mean? I'm so down and depressed because of how the season's going. And it's within the space of 7 weeks, we've gone from a team that are possibly going to be in a relegation scrap to the bitter end to stay in the league to suddenly a team now that's looking up, looking forward to next season already. We already know we're going to we've got Premier League football to look forward to. We know that we've got a coach now that is connecting clearly better with our team, with our players, with the fans, with the club in general. I think it's a good time. I think it's a really good time to be a West Ham fan. I think this is an exciting time. And I like the fact that we, as fans now, after all we've been through, and let's get it right, it's been bloody stressful. It's nice, isn't it, now to sit back and think the next 3 months of this Premier League season, doesn't need to be stressful. It can be an enjoyable stress. Or we've got Tottenham coming up. We want to win that to get above them. Great. And just go to enjoy it rather than think, bloody hell, we've got Tottenham. We've got to win because we don't win this. It's going to be horrendous because there's an obvious usual fallout from it. You just don't want to be cocking things up. It's just nice now to not to have that horrible pressure hanging over us, which is, let's be honest, very rare. You rarely ever get into this scenario. And we talked about previously as well, like a mini pre-season. Well, this sort of is a mini pre-season. Well, it's a mini season before the summer, and then we go into actual pre-season. So I'm really pleased. I like the fact we're in this position. It's a nice feeling. I've enjoyed today waking up, reading about West Ham, obviously writing a fair bit about it as well, talking about it now, but talking about it in a different light. That feeling, it's like the weight's off your shoulders. You can just enjoy football for what it is. So yeah, look, I think it's great. I think it's a great opportunity for Graham Potter, and I'm so glad the way things are working out with him, because I think he's come into this football club. It's a total mess. And don't be wrong, I'm not sitting there going, "God, he's sorted it all out. It's all done." There's still a lot of work to be done at West Ham. We know that, and there will be a lot of work going on this summer to this playing squad, because we need to get it in the shape that Potter needs it to be, and that's not going to happen overnight. So there's a lot to look forward to in that regard, but you can clearly see that these players are far well organised, responding well to what he wants. And I'm just really, really pleased about that. And look, it's the weekend without football though, which is a bit of a shame in terms of West Ham, which I'd never really like. I'd rather see us be playing and things to look forward to in terms of watching some games. But it's also nice in the fact that you haven't got the pressure of it and the worry. You can just enjoy football, and the fact we've had 2 wins as well and 2 clean sheets back to back really does help lift the mood, doesn't it? And that belief, and I can sit back and just start enjoying a bit. Well, FA Cup football this weekend, and then back to it next week with Europe and European football, etc., that we can start enjoying a little bit as neutrals, I guess, and then with a view that we're going to kick on when we've got Newcastle at home, which it's not going to be bloody easy, that's for sure. But you know what? The way West Ham have been playing recently, and I think especially after the Arsenal result, it really is that belief now that we really can beat anyone on our day this season. And you know what? Now the pressure's off and the shackles are off, I'm starting to really believe again and starting to enjoy football, which is excellent. I hope you are too. So look, enjoy your Friday. So it's always nice, isn't it, to end a week like this in 2 wins. It's fantastic. And hope you have a great weekend. I'll have some more videos coming up. We've got transfer bits and pieces coming up tomorrow, so I'll get that out then. But until then, have a nice evening, and I'll catch up with you then. Take care. Come on, your ones.